Brings the Apocalypse Part 5, my campaign. When we last left the party, they were at the ambush site, and I had run into a conundrum on what to do about this missing body of the Knight of the Gauntlet. If you see my two addendums, you see some of the issues with the scenario. I decided to just leave the body up at the ambush site. So I told them, hey guys, I messed this up. Next to that chest you saw by the wagons was indeed a coffin, and that's got the body in it. So they load the body up into, or the coffin, up into one of the wagons, and then they push-pull, drag it back to Summit Hall for internment. And while there, they discuss a few things with the mistress. They show her the gold mask, and she's familiar with the monastery and the stone monks there. So I let in a couple of things there. These aren't necessarily, they're very quiet, secretive kind of guys, but she doesn't get a good vibe from them, kind of thing. But they decide, let's go check it out. She knows where the monastery is, so she points it out on their map, and the next day they head off. They head up north, go to Beleriad, spend the night there, but they didn't bother asking around there for anything, so they missed all the clues there. Then they head west across the bridge, and then south through the hills on the I guess it's the Red Larch, or the Larch path, I guess it was called. So they head down through there, head south. No encounters. They get to Red Larch. They get to the inn. The innkeeper lady's suspicious, a little upset. They just take off in the middle of the night. Her room's locked up. She's not getting paid. So the warlock pays her off and promises more, proving their credit kind of thing. They find out about the sinkhole that is designed into the scenario if the adventurers don't ever actually go down to the Earth Temple that's not a monastery. The Earth Temple. Then the sinkhole occurs to get them involved with going down there. So the leadership of the town gets involved. The shadow government, the believers, try to dismiss everything, get everybody away from there, but other folks get involved, and they go down into the hole, and they find the whole place, and they find all these bodies in one of the back rooms. Now, previously in the temple there were three bodies down there that were had the rune of the Earth Cult carved into their forehead. Well, the believers didn't know what else to do, so all the bodies that were down there, the Earth Priest and the bandits, they took all those bodies and they dumped them in that back room. There's rats chewing on them, blood fish get eaten up, kind of thing. So the constable, with a couple of his guards and some other folks, they find this cache of bodies in this room, and so they start asking all kinds of questions, and stuff starts popping out. And there's just some suspicion going on. They're looking at getting some of the people put away. I'm planning for later on the town to come across the collapsed tunnel where the body of the quarry mistress is. So at that point they'll find that, and that'll start some more questions spewing about, especially since that heads up into the Wainwright. So they're going to pull the Wainwright into this whole business and get him pulled down. That was about it for that. They go to the tavern that night, and like they usually do, try to put on a show. And there's this female, because at this point, now that, well, they're not all third level, but they're getting there. Nearly all of the previous encounter stuff is done. So it's time to move on to the Temple of Elemental Evil properly. And so there's rumors that change. You've got now rumors directly to the various cults. Well, and one of the updated rumors, there's this half-orc guard, female, who was on a caravan, so she knows about the group coming from the north. Shoot, what was it? Not Mithras, that's something else. Mirabar. The Mirabar delegation. There we go. Sorry about that. So she knows about the Mirabar delegation, and that they were there because she got into a brawl with some of their guards. But the party already knows all that. And two of the party are half orcs. So I did some rolling. They come walking in. She locks eyeballs with the half orc barbarian. Sees him. She's kind of smitten. She stands up, walks right over to him, starts talking, to get on his good side, make a few passes here and there. It so happens that that character is being run by my son. And my son just totally freaks out. Yeah. Now, I don't know if it's because there's a female character hitting on his character or the fact that I'm playing the female character, putting all the schmooze on. That probably freaked him out a bit. But it was worth a good laugh. It was pretty funny. And so they do some gambling, and she's leaning on him, blowing on his dice, that kind of stuff. But he eventually pushes her off. Well, they spend the night. The next day, later on that night, while they're telling their story, somebody else says, "Hey, there's a shepherd who comes to my place, and he mentioned a couple days back that he found some shallow graves out there." So they get that hook. Next day, they head out towards the Earth Temple, and along the way are these shallow graves. So they find the shallow graves, and there's the buried Earth cultists and the buried air cultists, and there's the Mirabar guard who was buried as well. I read all that out without thinking, because my perspective on it is, if you're not a cultist, you don't count. So they bury all the cultists. The non-cultists, they just dump. Well, that just makes more confusion for everybody. So that's all good. And while they're there, they can see something flying over something in the hills. And this is a hook to get the PCs to go to the not their temple, but where their cultists have their haunted ruin, haunted castle, haunted keep, whatever it is. It happens to be a tower. Which, as I'm going through the different towers, haunted ruins and stuff, and the air cult is apparently the easiest, the lowest level encounter filled cult. So it's kind of like you see the shallow graves, and they head over the air cult, and there's some odd stuff in the valley leading up to that place. I've been looking online, especially on YouTube, other people who've been playing this. In fact, I've been watching a group who's been going through this scenario. They're playing on Roll20 or something. So I'm watching them play, just see how they, are dealing with the different events and how the GM is running things through. He's really good. It's pretty much seamless. So there's a schism in the party. Do we go check out this place where this thing flying over the temple is? Because one of them, critted on his perception, goes, whatever it is a bird-like creature, and it's far enough away. This thing's got to be huge. So some of them want to go check that out, and the rest of them want to go, hey, we're trying to find out what's going on with this Earth cult and the monastery. The monastery guys went out, so they head off that direction towards the monastery. They go up the trail to, it's a narrow cavern, and it opens up into a amphitheater kind of area with the monastery in the center, and it's a big square block off kind of building. They get there and they start. They send the warlock sends her imp one direction, and the barbarian and the rogue go the other direction. They kind of end up meeting together over by the open-topped garden. So the imp gets to look inside and see, there's trees, there's some statues and pathways, helpful doors, that kind of thing. So they have possibly a number of ways to enter into the monastery. We were getting close to our end time at that point. We had a short day because a couple of the players had to take off their stuff, but we wanted to get something done. So they got there, and that's where we ended up ending. It's right there. They're at the monastery. Next session, they're going to be going inside. Now there's the front doors. They got these arrow slit windows. They obviously send the imp in through those to try and find a way to get in. They've got 3 doors through the garden they can get to, that kind of stuff. They're not making a lot of noise, so nobody's really noticing what's going on. So it should be interesting. Somebody online had mentioned that the scenario is kind of designed for an infiltrate and disguise. Oh, I forgot to mention the half-orc paladin, who turned out to be close enough size to the Earth Priest to trade in his chainmail for the Earth Priest's scale or splint armor. Did that, so he's wearing splint armor. Well, it turns out he's also close enough in size to one of the Earth cultists, one of the Earth cult guards, that he can fit in his stone plate armor. So he's wearing the stone plate armor. They still have the mask and the monk robe, so technically they could have 2 of them disguised as cultists, and do something that way. But I don't think they'll think about that just yet necessarily. Short session, short video. Thanks, guys. Again, if you got any advice or points, plug them in. Thanks. Appreciate it. Out.